Biden's judicial sneak. That's the focus of tonight's angle. Now, from day one, the Biden administration has put the left's demand for diversity and activism above competence and merit.
As you know, one of the biggest priority of the president is nominating and confirming extraordinarily qualified men and women who are dedicated to our Constitution and who represent the diversity of America.
All right. Well, from the open borders to their push for transgenderism, the Democrats have relied on their hand-picked judges to validate these policies, regardless of the Constitution, the rule of law, or just plain common sense or biology. Which takes us to today's Senate Judiciary Committee hearing to consider the nominations of several Biden appointees to key federal judgeships. Now, Democrats were hoping, I think, to squeak these nominees through, all of them women, knowing that Americans don't really see much of these hearings. But today's was a doozy, and it was illustrative of the Democrats' perversion of our Article III courts. Because the public has a right to know how radical these nominees are, these clips are going to run a little bit longer than normal tonight. But this judicial nominee, Sarah Netburn, was questioned by Senators John Kennedy and Ted Cruz.
You went to Brown University, is that right?
I did.
And then you went to law school in California?
That's correct.
And you've worked for the Brennan Center?
I interned. I was a law student intern.
Okay. And you worked for the Center for Reproductive Law and Policy?
I was a law student intern there for 8 weeks during my 1L summer.
Okay. And you are a political activist, aren't you?
I am not. I'm a sitting United States magistrate judge.
Okay. All right. Do you remember an inmate named William McLean, also known as July Justine Shelby?
Yes, I know who you're referring to.
Okay. Mr. McLean raped a child, didn't he?
30 years ago, the petitioner in the habeas case before me
Did he rape a child?
He pled guilty to that crime. Yes, it's abhorrent.
And then he raped he raped a little boy, right?
I believe that's correct. I believe he pled guilty to 2 acts of sexual violence.
And then he raped a 17-year-old girl, right?
Again, this case was handled by the state court in Indiana, but
I'm just asking you the facts. Don't stall on me now. Did he rape a 17-year-old girl or not after raping a 9-year-old boy?
I believe that's what he pled guilty to.
And that was a weird smile that she had just there. Then he went to prison, this individual, for that offense. And sometime after that, he decided he wanted to wear dresses. A trans woman now who liberals like Sarah Netburn believe are members of a protected class who deserve special accommodations.
And then he decided to transition, and he became a female and started going by July Justine Shelby. Is that right?
Yes.
And Ms. Shelby said, I don't want to go to a male prison. I want to go to a female prison. And the Board of Prisons said, what planet did you parachute in from? You're going to a male prison with this kind of record. And you sent him to a female prison, didn't you? You said that the Board of Prisons was trying to violate Ms. Shelby, former Mr. McLean's constitutional rights, didn't you?
I issued a report and recommendation to the district judge recommending that the district judge transfer the petitioner to a women's facility. The district judge adopted that recommendation.
The Board of Prisons was trying to violate Ms. Shelby's, Mr. McLean's constitutional rights, didn't you?
So I based my decision on the facts that were presented to me in the record evidence.
But wasn't that your ruling?
I recommended finding that under Estelle versus Gamble.
Why won't you admit that was your ruling? Are you ashamed of it today?
I'm not. I'm answering the question. I applied Estelle versus Gamble.
Was that your ruling?
My recommendation was that the petitioner's serious medical needs were being denied by keeping her in a men's facility.
A violation of the 8th Amendment, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Cruel and unusual punishment, the 8th Amendment, applies to that? Now, this is the type of warped thinking that encapsulates the modern-day Democrat Party. These are the types of people They want making decisions not just on prison transfer cases, which are outrageous enough, but on critical issues that affect all Americans, like whether EV mandates are constitutional, whether student loan forgiveness is constitutional, and even whether illegal aliens have the right to vote. Behold the legal reasoning of this nominee when questioned by someone who actually knows how to get answers.
How big was Ms. Shelby, Mr. McClain?
I don't have a specific recollection. Your colleague just suggested that she was more than 6 feet tall.
And you told the Board of Prisons, well, she'll be okay. The other women in the female prison will be okay because it's only hypothetical that Ms. Shelby, Mr. McClain would reoffend again after he's already raped a 9-year-old boy and a 17-year-old girl and has been sending child porn through the mail. You said there's no chance he'll reoffend again. Did you say that?
Senator Kennedy, I based my decision on the record.
But am I right? Did you conclude that?
I don't have a specific recollection of that.
Then Ted Cruz stepped in and got to the heart of the matter.
This case demonstrates that you are willing to subjugate the rights of individuals to satisfy your political ideology. And this individual, 6'2", biologically a man. A minute ago, you said that when this man decided that he was a she, you said this individual was, quote, I wrote it down, sober and entirely a female. That phrase struck me as remarkable. Did this individual have male genitalia?
I think what I said, or at least what
that is a verbatim quote, entirely a female.
Sorry, what I meant to say was hormonally a female.
Okay, but that's not entirely. Did this individual have male genitalia?
Yes.
So you took a 6'2" serial rapist, serial child rapist with male genitalia, and he said, you know, I'd like to be in a women's prison. And your answer was, that sounds great to me. Let me ask you something. The other women in that prison, do they have any rights?
Is that a question you're asking me?
Yes, the other women in that prison, do they have any rights?
Of course.
Do they have the right not to have a 6'2" man who is a repeat serial rapist put in as their cellmate?
Senator Cruz, I considered the facts presented to me, and I reached a decision based on what the law is.
I asked you a question. Senator Kennedy is right. This is not a judge's order. This is a political activist. By the way, the beginning of your order says, at birth, people are typically assigned a gender. I got to say that would astonish a lot of Americans. Assigned a gender, I know you went to Brown, but it sounds like it's in a college faculty lounge with no bearing on reality.
Bingo. The Bureau of Prisons had decided it was wrong to transfer this prisoner, a 6'2" male, biological male, but the magistrate didn't care.
You wrote, quote, the Bureau of Prisons claim penological interest in protecting female prisoners from sexual violence and trauma. This interest is legitimate, that's kind of you to say, but there are no signs that petitioner is at risk of reoffending. A theoretical risk of sexual assault by the prisoner without more cannot support the BOP's position. In what universe is someone who is a serial repeat child rapist not at a risk of reoffending? It is clear on your record your political ideology matters a heck of a lot more than the rights of those women that you endangered. I think you're a radical, and I think you have no business being a judge.
The Democrats on the committee knew their nominee had been exposed, so the chair tries to clean it all up.
There was an opportunity during your exchange with Senator Cruz that you were attempting to offer a response.
The facts that were presented to me and what I relied on to make my decision were that the petitioner had engaged in no violence, no physical violence, no acts of sexual violence whatsoever while in custody. All 3 wardens who supervised the petitioner requested that she be transferred to a women's facility because of her serious medical needs. What the Transgender Executive Council repeatedly said in denying the request was simply that she needed to maintain her hormone levels. Her hormones were entirely female at that point, and so the decision by the Transgender Executive Council to deny the transfer request based on this idea that it was only because her hormones needed to be consistent and stabilized, I found was a pretext, but they never once said she cannot be transferred because of violence.
With respect, you allowed the witness to go at length and to change her testimony without her being subject to cross-examination. Are you going to allow us to have a second round of questioning?
No, Senator Kennedy.
What are you trying to cover up here?
There is no cover-up, and Mr. Padilla, Senator Padilla, you'll be allowed the 30 seconds.
Well, I think
Senator
we should
Kennedy.
have a second round.
Senator Kennedy.
And I am appealing the ruling of the chair.
I have no intention on allowing a second round of questioning. This is a hearing. I have the gavel.
I've seen a chair try so hard to protect a witness and avoid answering why she just lied on the stand with her own words, her own opinion.
I love the staffer whispering, get out of this as soon as possible. Oh, my goodness. Then Hazy Mazie comes in for the rescue attempt of the novice chair.
We have been witness to literally witness badgering and now badgering of the chair. Some of us would like to get on with this hearing.
I'm sure you would.
Can we get on with it, Madam Chair?
So does every Democrat senator want to cover up the facts here? Is any Democrat
So can we
senator interested
return
in the direct
to
contradiction
Senator,
from the
we'll be
witness?
returning to Senator
Apparently,
Padilla's
the entire
questioning, or
Democrat
we
senators
will
that want to
adjourn
cover these up.
today's
You
hearing.
want to adjourn? Go ahead. You can do that. The
Padilla, I
questions
wanna
are
give
going
you
to
your 30
be, are you
seconds.
more
If you
handsome or
wish, you can
beautiful
yield
or
your
brilliant?
time, and we
And
can
let's
already
avoid the
gather
facts.
Don't let the facts get in the way of decision-making. We saw that at the Trump trial. All right, then after the Democrats were caught trying to sneak this pro-trans radical on the court, they returned to the cliches of their most cherished value.
The value, not just the importance, but the value of diversity in our judiciary. Clearly, you each bring tremendous both life as well as professional experience, which I think strengthens the judiciary when more perspectives are considered.
This hearing was fantastic because it demonstrated once again how vital it is that Biden not be given 4 more years to destroy the integrity of another American institution, the federal courts. My goodness, hasn't he done enough damage already?
Reaching 200 judges is a major milestone. Simply put, our 200 judges comprise the most diverse slate of judicial nominations under any president in American history.
Now, in Biden's first term, remember, they've lost huge cases because the hard left doesn't yet control the judiciary. But as we saw today, they're doing everything possible to get there. And if they do, you're going to find that criminals will be treated better than most law-abiding Americans. And traditional Christians, they'll be totally run over. To stop this unconstitutional madness, that hearing was staggering. We need a Republican Senate, and we need to put Donald Trump back in the White House. And that's The Angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.